Assalamu alaikum. This is Amna Hayat live from TBC Talks. I hope you all are doing great. And before we start our today's session, I would like to say that while conducting this whole session, we have followed each and every possible SOP at a workplace. So let's start an insightful session on living personal life professionally. So today with us, we have an amazing personality, Mr. Mehdi Raza, who is born and bred in the customer service industry for 19 years and is currently the unit head at MCB Bank. And amazingly, he's also a certified master trainer by Ron Kofman and Harvard Schumann. So let's welcome him. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
So, sir, first of all, thank you so much for being a part of TBC Talks.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It's our pleasure, and really looking forward to a great session, inshallah.
That's all.
So, sir, the very first and basic question: tell us about the other side of your personality. That who is Mehdi Raza?
As when you mean non-professional side?
Yeah.
I'm a fun-loving person. I realized after a very long time that I really enjoy being with my family. I think it's the most challenging thing to be with your family, but I enjoy it, especially when they're all happy, which is sometimes very difficult to achieve. Most of the time, actually. You have to do a lot from your side too. But I think if one understands that you have to have focus in life, then nothing is difficult.
Yeah.
Like in the initial years, when I was not married, I had only one focus: career.
Yeah.
Again, nothing stands in between me and my career. But when I got married, I was still taking my career ahead. There were certain few setbacks and things, but then I focused my life that yes, if my career is important, my family is also very important.
Right.
Okay, with my family, I have to have a little bit of social life as well. And that social life does not mean, going partying around. It's probably doing something socially well. So, providing some social sort of assistance with whatever you have. And then the one thing that I'm trying to struggle with right now is give time to myself.
Yeah.
That is the most difficult thing. But like you asked me a question that who am I? I'm just a simple and a common person trying to make something out of life, not necessarily monetarily, but probably I feel that building a good generation is very important. So my focus is now on my generation along with my work. So that's in a nutshell, yes.
Yeah.
There are too many things to talk about, but I think it's most important to have a focus in life. My focus is my generation, and I want to do a lot of things for my children and my family, so there's a good generation on the way.
Very long-term oriented and well said.
Thank you.
Sir, then what is meant by living a personal life professionally?
Okay. See, when you are working somewhere, okay, now a customer comes, for example, you're working in an outlet, in a front-end outlet, probably you're working at McDonald's, or you're working at a bank, or you're working at any sort, and a customer walks in, and he starts getting upset. He says, "Ye kya kar diya? Mera kaam aise tu kharab kar diya?" He's complaining.
Right.
And you are 100% attentive, because if you don't attend to his complaint, he's going to complain to your superior. And your superior is going to come and ask you, why didn't you manage his complaint? At that time, you get into a fix. And then you tell yourself, next time I'm going to make sure nothing happens. But when you go home, when you go into your personal life, see, when I talk about personal life, for me, it's more than 50% my family. So probably you'll hear a lot about my family, how to deal with the family. Not that I'm an expert, but there are some tricks that I've learned.
Right.
So now when you go home, or you go with your friends, or you go in your social life, and someone's complaining to you, like for example, your child comes and says, Baba, you promised me a cycle, and it's been 3 months you haven't given it. You didn't just tell him, beta abhi bhi baad mein aana. बच्चा फिर आता है, probably time goes by, probably you'll end up, passing one whole year, and there's no accountability. Your wife comes and complains about something, your mother complains about something, your friends complain about something. You take those complaints very casually. But at your workplace, in your professional life, you do not take them casually. You work towards resolution.
Right.
So, what I see missing nowadays is that people in the office and in their career, they will make sure that they perform. But when it comes to their personal life, most of them don't perform. Complaints go unattended. Issues keep growing. In the end, you have a snowball effect. And then the problem becomes bigger than what it started off with. So probably if you have a professional approach in your personal life, you may not let those complaints escalate to a level beyond your control.
Right. One needs to bridge the gap between the personal and professional life.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's work-life balance. I'm talking about application of your professional self in your personal life.
Okay.
How to apply a professional approach in your personal life.
Right.
To be more articulate towards the approach that you take in your personal circle. Most importantly, being your family.
So, sir, how important is it to have a good balance between your professional and personal life?
It's very important. It's very important, but it's very fortunate. People are very fortunate if they get to handle that balance.
Yeah.
Because see, you need to understand one thing. People talk about work-life balance, hona chahiye, there should be work-life balance, but it's not in the hand of the individual. It's in the hand of the organization's culture, or probably the department you're working in, or probably the person you are reporting to. I remember in my previous organization, one of my previous organizations, they used to say office starts at 6 p.m. We used to be there at 9. From 9 to 6, we are doing whatever it takes to close the day. Then from 6 o'clock, we used to work till 11 o'clock at night. See now, if you leave the office at 6 or you're planning to sneak out the office at 6, someone from behind would say, half day leke ja rahe ho.
Right.
So that builds up a lot of pressure when everyone is sitting in the office and you become the odd one out trying to leave the office at such specific time. People will start targeting you. They will start talking bad about you. So basically it's not in your hand. It's in the hand of the organization, the bosses. But having said so, if you can manage the balance, you will live longer.
Definitely. But sir, as you said that you were giving an extra hour to your workplace, so didn't it affect your personal life, your balancing your whole life with your kids?
I went through a disaster. I went through a very serious disaster, which I'm not sure I should be talking about that disaster here, but it was so bad I was in tears. My work pressure had increased so much that I almost lost everything. I almost lost my entire family to the work pressures, because just imagine when you are going to work, when you reach work at 9 o'clock in the morning and you leave at 11 at night, what are you going to do when you go home?
You have nothing left to give.
No,
to the family.
you probably won't end up eating your dinner also. Forget about meeting your family, your mother, your wife. Forget about all that. Forget about your children. Right? So there used to be a post-it on our screens that office starts at 9. What I did in that case, I dedicated a drawer on my table, and I used to collect those post-its. I said, when I'm going to leave this position, I'm going to give all those post-its to the person, my boss, who gave me all those post-its. Here, you can have your post-its back. I don't need them anymore. So yes, it did affect me a lot. But then probably that's where I learned from. That's probably where I learned from that, you have to put your foot down. If you are in a certain position, you can do it. You just have to try to do it. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you are optimizing those working hours 100%. No smoke breaks. Probably, yes, you can take your namaz break. But if you have the facility of having your lunch on your table, you have your lunch on your table and work at the same time.
Right.
Because see, the organization that's paying you, it's not paying you to take coffee breaks. It's not paying you to take smoke breaks. Yes, namaz is a religious thing and it's a cultural thing, so nobody stops you. But if you can do it inside instead of going to a mosque, because when you go to a mosque, you are taking out 30 minutes flat, then you cannot complain if your boss is saying sit and work for longer. You can only tell your boss that I am working from 9 to 5:30 or 6 without a single break.
Right.
And I have completed all my tasks. Because that's how you go, that's the only way you can leave. If your tasks are incomplete and you ask for leaving, that's inappropriate. You're not doing the job that you were hired for.
Right. So, do you recommend any of the organization that taking extra hours of working are a better option or not? As you already shared your experience that you had a horrible experience while and I can feel it like working from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m.
on a daily basis.
No, I can't.
On a daily basis for the closing, and that was for 3 months. Last quarter, every last quarter used to be like that.
It's really a lot to take in. I think
it's impossible. It's inhuman. It's not impossible. It's inhuman.
Did you end up leaving the job or?
Yes,
something?
I the minute I found another opportunity, I left.
That's the most, I think, sensible decision one can make, because it's really a hectic one to take in. So, sir, can you tell us that what as a person we can make a difference at our workplace, in our lives and in the lives of others?
Okay. If I have understood your question correctly.
Yeah.
You see, every time you have a task at your workplace, every time someone will not be watching you.
Right.
So if you develop this notion that whether anyone's watching me or whether is anyone not watching me, whether I will get rewarded to complete this task, whether I will not get rewarded to complete this task, I have to complete this task in the best way possible.
Right.
Nothing is stopping you. You will be very relaxed. Because see, the problem with us as a culture, I'm not talking for most of the people, I'm talking for some of the people that I have faced in my personal experience, is that whenever you give someone a task, they will always try to take out a shortcut in between.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've also gone through, probably someone you reported to, they always want to take a shortcut out and say that, listen, I've sent him an email and when he'll respond, I will give you the update. No. You sent an email, call him up. You couldn't find him on his extension, call him on his cell phone. Get the job done. Yeah. Because the minute you get the job done, and when you give, of course your boss has given you an assignment and you're getting the job done, or it's an organization assignment and you give the organization back, the organization will take care of you. It's natural.
It's a two-way.
It's a natural cycle. You think of the organization, while being in the organization will think back for you. It's as simple as that.
It's owning the decisions and making the things done.
Because you need to understand one very basic thing.
Yeah.
The organization trusts you not to take out shortcuts, to do the best thing possible with the smallest thing also. Because see, every small block that you build is your own image that you're making in front of people. You don't want a lethargic image that he's lazy, he delays stuff. In the end, what happens? You will not have any task at your hand. And always remember one thing. Your value is based on the number of responsibilities that you have. If you have no responsibility and the organization is paying you, it's just doing you a favor. Don't let anyone do a favor on yourself. You become the one doing favors to people.
Very insightful approach. That in order to move forward, you have to gain the maximum.
You have to take ownership of your position. If you are a person who is supposed to greet someone, like when you go to outlets and you see people opening the door, first of all I stop them. I don't open the door for me, I'll do it myself. Especially if it's an aged person, I tell them, please don't open the door for me, I'll do it myself. Because I don't think for me that's very ethical that a man with a white beard stands up, holds his back and opens the door. I will probably remunerate him without doing that, and he will feel so good. That makes me feel good. He'll smile at me. Probably 1,000 of my issues will get resolved the minute he smiles at me. You see? So you have to make sure that you are honest to your task. Koi dekhe ya na dekhe.
Right.
You have to be sure.
And it's the small gestures that count at the end of the day.
You recognize people not with the big things that they do.
True.
But the small things that they do unconsciously. Usually you will find out about someone when you go out to eat with them.
Yeah.
They'll be all sweet with you, oh please come, please come. But the minute they see someone or some person with the smallest stature irritates them, and then they get back to them.
Yeah.
It's how you react defines who you are. Very simple.
True.
If he speaks nicely, if he keeps his hand on his chest and he says gesture and he says, please Baba maaf kare, I don't have, be honest, I can't give you anything right now. Probably the person asking won't feel embarrassed, or the waiter gets a wrong order. Nowadays you see so many of these food groups coming in and everyone's just going, getting so upset, talking. I'm not saying that everyone's correct, but I do say everyone was not wrong also. So it's the small gestures that define who you are. So you be very careful. And you see, those small gestures come from how you think. You can't prepare them at that very moment.
Yeah.
It's how you think, what you tell yourself, what you believe in. It comes out immediately. So it's just look for those small things.
Yeah.
And judge people with those small things.
So, sir, as we are talking about living personal life professionally,
Yeah.
so as a female, I would like to know some tips, or I would like to know the marriage life crisis. I think
Marriage
I can
life
get
crisis.
some
Okay.
tips from you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So can you tell us about
Okay,
some?
Alhamdulillah, I've been married for 10 years.
Mashallah.
Take care. And 2 children, 2 boys.
Mashallah.
One of them is not doing too well nowadays. Inshallah, he'll be fine.
Inshallah.
But if I've understood your question correctly, I think a woman has to put in a lot. There are no words when it comes to understanding the effort a woman has to put in case if she's married and she is a dedicated mother, a dedicated wife, and a dedicated employee. It will, in the end of the day, you need to go and tell her that, listen, you're doing an amazing job. Because that's what she expects from you. As a husband, if my wife is not recently, I'm sorry, I will just share a recent.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Recently, in the first week of January, me and my wife fell sick. I was lying down and resting.
Yeah, I know. You told me.
I was lying down and I was resting. I was like, I can't get up. My wife was equally sick. But she was managing the house. She was managing both the kids. Because all the schools have gone online and my son was having an exam, she was managing that. And she was also in it. She was also having a fever. That's just one little part of life, I'm telling you. That, women, I think women need to be way more respected than what they are today. And I don't know if this goes off course, but if a husband does not have the courtesy to say thank you to her, then I think he should develop that courtesy when she's working. Okay, when she's career oriented, when she's working, when she's taking care of her husband's needs, husband says, okay, a husband like me says, listen, I can't eat anyone else's food. I need you to, cook for me. I love your cooking. Now I don't push her and say, why didn't you cook food? I'm like, listen, I don't like anyone else's food. This is where the professionalism in personal life comes in.
Yeah.
I'm telling her, listen, you cook so well. Nobody can match your taste. So when she stands in the kitchen, she's happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my son got his grades today. He got 3 A's and 2 B's. As compared to last time where he had C's also in his report. Who is responsible for that score? My wife. Not me. So if I don't go and say, amazing job, if I only go and praise my son and I don't praise my wife, it's going to be uneven. She'll feel that, how much I did, how much input I gave for this result. If I don't have the courtesy to go, at least say thank you. You had amazing effort with the guy. While she was not feeling well, while she was cooking, while she was taking care of the 8-month-old kid, while she was working. So it's very important that we understand that women need the appreciation due. Nothing extra. Just give them what's due. And it's going to be very good. I think women are more dedicated than men.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, you would say that.
And thank you so much for giving such a wonderful
I'm
message.
sorry if my responses are too long.
No.
I'm really sorry.
It's actually a great thing, and thank you for such a wonderful message. I think it's a small act of supporting a housewife, a mother, a working woman, that she ends up doing 10 times more than she can do normally.
There's this picture on the internet where there's a race course.
Yeah.
There's a marathon going on.
Yeah, I know.
There's a marathon going on. There are 3 men and there are 3 women.
Yeah.
So the men have a clear course.
Path. Yeah.
Whereas a woman, when she's standing there, there's a baby. There's the washing machine. There's the kitchen.
Yeah.
There are clothes hanging, and then her race starts. You see, I was working with a very professional person. I'm not going to name him. Very professional. Yeah. And in between a meeting, a call comes. Okay, the maid hasn't showed up. Now, in that meeting, which is already very stressful, the maid doesn't show up at her house.
Yeah.
Her kids are alone. Now, how will she conduct that meeting? It takes guts to finish the meeting and then handle the situation at home. The husband was abroad. The woman was here. So you see, you can leave a family on a woman.
Yeah.
You cannot leave a family on a man. That's my experience.
I'm a little bit of speechless because I have seen a little, very few men who, can go and talk about supporting women in today's actually days.
I think the men who don't do it, they're just afraid. I'm not afraid. I think credit should be given where it is due.
True.
Bottom line.
Okay, sir. So, sir, what are the keeping in mind the whole female perspective, we are already talking about. So, what advice would you like to give to the working women? As I also believe that balancing a good quality, amount between their personal and professional life is, sometimes gets more hectic than they can even imagine.
Okay, my suggestion. Looking at my experiences, I don't know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
My world is my world, so I'm going to talk about my world. See, when you see someone dedicated, you can tell they're dedicated. But there's one problem with the dedicated woman. She spends half her day at work and the remaining day at home, taking care of home chores and stuff like that. That's the maximum. There are some who are very privileged, but they get to work. They don't drive, but they get to work. Who don't have to drive back, but they get back. Who don't have to cook, but they get the food.
Yeah.
Whose children are taken care of, whose husbands are abroad. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the majority.
Majority, right.
Now, when a woman is at work and she comes back home, she knows her chores are set to be done. Like probably she has to cook if there is no maid, for example. Probably she has to get the child's homework done. In doing all these chores, the day comes to an end. What she is missing out?
Her self-time?
Her self-time and a little bit of social outlet. You see, many aged people and many wise people have said you have to distribute your day in 4 sections. One is your work, that we are already all doing.
Yeah.
One is home, that we are already doing.
Yeah.
Then is social activity, any social activity. That doesn't mean go do something inordinate, but probably you go to an orphanage and give them a half an hour lecture, or just go there and entertain them. That's social. And then is yourself. Dedicated women today are missing on this part, the self and the social,
right? Because
they don't get the time. So my suggestion, if you want to keep the cycle rolling for men and women, you need to break your day up into these 4 sections. Otherwise, if for example, if you are basing your entire life on 2 sections, work and family, anyone breaks down, you're 50% finished. But if you're focusing on 4 angles and one breaks down, 75% is still intact.
Right.
So you get that support to stand up again.
Sir, but don't you think that for a working woman, if she wants to, contribute to all the four aspects of her life on a daily basis, so it's not just her work; it's about a supporting family who will make her lead the living.
If the family structure is gay, when she comes home, the family looks at her as a maid.
Yeah.
Then I
Losing
think
all
the
the
family really
responsibility.
needs to think about it. The family really needs to think about it, how they're treating that woman.
Yeah. Because I think this is one of the major problems that they
I
face.
don't want to bring a religious aspect into all this but I tell you, every religion has this. If you open their books, in any book, in Christianity, in Judaism, in Islam, if you open their books and see the rights of women, you will probably end up hiding that book. A man would end up hiding the book. Hey, yaar, this book should not come to her hands, because if she gets her hands on this, I will be serving her rather than she serving me. That's the caliber of a woman that has been set by the Creator, that you cannot pester her, you cannot push her around. You take care of her. See, why is this so important? Why is taking care of women so important? Because she is the one building your generation.
Yeah.
If man doesn't do anything, man just goes out, brings a little bit of money home and gives it to the mother or the woman or the wife of the house and says, "Bhai, run the house." Now, how she utilizes this depends on how she is treated. You must have seen mothers who are very sweet to their children. But at the same time, you see mothers who get extremely frustrated when the child doesn't listen. It's because that woman has not been given the environment so she can handle that pressure. Children today and before, very difficult every day. But self, yes, every day. Give her half an hour. Tell her, go for a walk, go take the car, do some exercise, join the gym. Because when you work out and when you go out, you take a walk for 5 minutes, you're refreshed. If you're not giving her this time, then you're usurping her rights.
Totally. It's not all about the physical inputs we are doing. It's more about the mental awareness and mental take care of things. So, sir, kindly tell us that mashallah, you are such a mashallah trained, mastered, and you have so much successful attempts in your life. Then what is the secret?
You're the first one telling me that I've had successful attempts in my life.
No, mashallah, you are doing a great job.
Chalo, I'm glad you think that way.
I did a little research
Okay,
on your
very
profile.
good, very good.
So, sir, what is the one secret behind leading a successful professional life?
Be consistent.
Consistent.
Be consistent. Have your pace.
Yeah.
See, you don't set the pace. Your organization sets the pace. Okay? If you're working in a local company, it has its own pace. If you're working in a multinational company, it has its own pace. So pace is set by the company. You just need to be consistent in your deliverables.
Right.
And there's nothing stopping you from going to the top.
Just move forward no matter what the pace
Move
is.
forward.
Yeah.
Because we need to understand. Generally what happens with the people is when they join an organization, they just want everything immediately. Yeah, I'm not getting this, and oh, my boss did not praise me. But if in today's world, no news is good news.
Yeah.
So if your boss is not calling you, probably you're doing fine.
Yeah.
Because if you're missing on something, he'll definitely call you. He or she will definitely call. So consistency along with the organization space. You need to understand the organization space. If the organization is a fast moving organization, you got to be consistent with them. You have to walk with them. You have to think like them. In a nutshell, think of the organization. Your existence should benefit the organization. That's it. And you will grow.
And do you agree with the statement that your professional life has got everything to do with the choices that you make in your personal life?
My professional life has
got everything to do that the choices?
No. I think your personal life has everything to do with the choices you make in your professional life. How? Okay. You have a bad environment in your home. Yeah. Fighting, quarrels. You might end up resigning out of frustration. But if you had a fight with your boss, you're not going to come and leave your family. You'll just be a little frustrated.
Yeah.
Probably your family. See, you need to understand family. Family is a structure that is built on nature.
Yeah.
You have to take care of it. Okay. Now, if according to your question, which I don't agree to, your point that I don't agree to, if, for example, me as a married man, we have quarrels. It's not hidden. It's a healthy relationship if you have quarrels and then they're subdued and they're resolved.
Right.
Because I'm a customer service person. I know every move I make creates an opinion in the mind of my family, even if they're not watching.
Right.
So if I have a quarrel at home, it gets serious, for example. You think I'll be able to function properly at work? No.
Not at all.
And do you think I will have that support at work to make me feel better? I don't think so. But if I have something going on wrong at work and I have a supportive family structure, probably I'll be able to resolve that issue at work very amicably and it'll go fine. It'll go through.
Yeah.
So do you understand the difference?
You will make a way out.
So basically, your statement needs to change.
Yeah.
It's your personal life that affects your professional decisions, not your professional decisions that affect your.
Right.
Most of the times.
It's totally a new, perspective that how your personal life is more or
Very
less
important. Very important.
influencing
I don't want to quote the name, but a very respectable person once said that you cannot fight a war if you've had a fight with your wife. You won't be focused while fighting if you've had a fight with your wife. So go resolve your issues with your wife first and then go on the war front. You'll fire better.
More focusing on the internal part?
You have to resolve your internal issues.
Yeah.
You have to.
Right. Sir, as a perspective of living a personal life professionally, if you look your life right now, so are you living the, life of your dreams?
Life of my dreams, yes, when I'm sleeping.
Then I can be satisfied when I'm sleeping.
When I'm sleeping, I have all the dreams. I just had a dream a couple of days back that I got promoted. So I was very happy. I'm not sure if I'm getting... Life of your dreams is a very vast term.
Yeah.
I don't think...
Are you there somewhere?
No, but you see, if you talk about contentment, I'm content, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
But dreams will drive you crazy. And yes, I do have a dream which doesn't let me sleep at night. And I'm working over it a little bit slow by slow. I can't be too hasty about it because then my family is going to get upset. But I'm content with my life, alhamdulillah. It's good. Aside all the challenges that we face on a daily basis or whatever, it's good. It's balanced.
That's more, I think, that matters, a balance.
That's realistic.
Life. Yeah,
that's realistic.
So would you like to share the dream of your life? You did ask me that you can ask anything on the topic.
You can. Okay, it's not a dream, but it's something I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I have this fascination with cars. Yeah, I have a fascination that they should be shining all the time.
Yeah.
So I've just moved on to this new project or venture that you can call it of car detailing. Car detailing, where you just do something magical with the car and it's going to shine for the rest of its life.
It's something new.
No, it's not. It's basically not something new, but people are not doing it properly over here. The reason why you call it car detailing, I hope I can talk about this for a few seconds.
Sure.
Okay.
Take your
The
time.
reason why you call this car detailing is because there's a difference in what's going on over here in our country, and there's a difference in what's going on internationally. The reason why you call it detail is you just don't go wash the car and you put the machine and no. There are steps involved. Like you wash the car and then you spray it with iron spray and then you wash it again and then you rub it with clay and then you apply isopropyl alcohol and then you wash it again and then you look for any defects and then you have a cutting polish with the machine and then you go for a nice finish polish and if it's all done in the end you seal it. So this entire process takes around 10 hours to do. People are doing it in like
I didn't know this whole procedure.
Yeah, many people don't. Many people don't. So what people are doing here, the detailers, that they say, oh, we detail your car, we do the inside cleaning. They do it in few hours. It's not possible. If you are following the international standards of detailing your vehicle, it's not going to take you anything less than 6 hours if you have an appropriate team with you. But you run the machine. Like if I have a team with me soon, it's me who's going to run the machine on the car, not anybody else, because it's me who wants to make sure that when I look at the car from this angle, it's smooth and shiny, and when I look at the car from this angle, it's smooth and shiny. So this is something I have in my mind. I don't know how far I'll go with it, but I have bought all the equipment. I've started testing it on my car and everything. So let's see where this goes.
No, it's really a refreshing look at what you dream to achieve.
I would not call it a dream. I'd call it something I want to do.
Yeah, something that you are looking
something
forward.
Probably I want to do, and probably 10 years down the line I have my own workshop.
Yeah.
With cars like Audi and BMWs and Ferraris, standing, waiting for their turn to get detailed from my workshop.
I like the idea.
Yeah, I like it too. Let's see how far it goes.
Inshallah. Inshallah, if this happens, then I'm inshallah going to be one of your clients.
Depends if you stay in touch that long.
Hopefully. So let's have some questions on the comment session. That I'm having a lot of questions popping on the screen. Okay, so the first question, Wajia Khalid. So that's a question that, do you think that men and women have different balance structure in their personal and professional lives?
Of course.
Like you already discussed.
Of course. A woman is much loaded with things to do than a man.
Yeah. So there's no comparison, right?
No.
So the only thing we are, nowadays on social media and all the aura that we are getting, that how men and women are equal. But even personally, I think Islamically
I don't want to get into that equal part, because then it's misunderstood.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
I totally believe it.
I don't want to go into anything that's misunderstood, because then controversies arise. I don't want to be part of that. But if a woman is doing her task as she's supposed to be doing, she is much loaded with chores and works and worries than a man is.
Totally agree. So there's another question by Raja, that is there any such thing as a non-working vacation?
Non-working vacation?
That even if you are on a vacation from your work life.
Not if you're a parent.
Not if you're a parent.
No, if you're a parent, you have no non-working. You have to work on a vacation also.
Okay, that's about people who are married. What about the people who are single?
It's party all the way.
Don't you think that even if we, as a person, if we take an off from our office, we are, more focusedly indulge in our work office?
No, take a leave and go out of the country or go out of the city. Leave the city. Just go away.
It's not a piece of cake leaving the city.
If you want a non-working vacation, then you have to leave. Otherwise, if you're in the city, probably your officials will call you back at work and say, oh, listen, you need to respond to this.
That's a really new approach, and in case we have to...
I always used to tell anybody that when you take a vacation, leave the country or leave the city. Don't stay. So they'll not call you back.
Another perspective, that even if you're not leaving the city, you inform your boss that you are leaving
That's
the city.
lie.
That's a lie?
That's a lie. Like I said, you have to be honest. You have to be honest if you want to be successful.
Yeah.
A dishonest person may see success for this much time.
Short term, right.
Why did I tell you be consistent? Because if you're consistent, you will get there eventually.
Right.
But if you're dishonest, you will feel that you're climbing the ladder. But the ladder is upside down. You're actually going down, not up. But if you're honest, you climb one rung at a time. Tuck, tuck, tuck. And eventually you'll see yourself. When you look down, you'll like, oh, I climbed so much. How did it happen? It's the angels that are pushing you up.
Consistency and...
Because you're honest. See, you need to understand. Can I take 2 seconds? You need to understand how an honest person survives. God loves honest people. And if God loves you, no matter what, who hates you, you're going to be successful. Because if you in any way can be a person who God wants to support.
Hmm.
Why I'm saying God is because this is a collective term used by everyone. If he decides that, oh, I like this guy, I'm going to support him, you're done. You don't have to worry about anything. You just have to keep worrying about what you were doing and keep doing it the same way.
Right.
And if you're dishonest, there is no space for you.
It's going
There's
to
no
be
space for you. No, there's no space for you.
Hmm.
You will take a nose drop on the floor eventually. And that we have seen.
Couldn't agree more. So, sir, another question is that how to manage all four parts that you explained in case of single parent by Bushra Gul.
Single parent. Oh, single parent.
That's such a
Single parent, yes.
Good question.
I don't know if this single parent has some sort of family support. If it has family support like a sister or a family's house or something, probably, you can drop the kids if it's safe. I don't recommend daycares
yeah. In Pakistan
because they can. I know it's very easy to say I don't recommend daycares, but some people, out of sheer need, they have to leave their kids to daycares. I pray that there was a way to get your child out of that daycare. If you have the support function, you leave your kids for a little while, buy them nice stuff, download a nice movie in a USB or something. And if they're too young, you'll have to wait. We have to wait.
Yeah.
If it's a child in between
Toddler.
birth, I guess toddler.
Yeah.
Because toddlers are very innocent. Probably you need to shape your life according to the toddler. Take the toddler to the park. And when you see the toddler running and he, mama, you'll automatically be refreshed. Like, oh, look at this is my kid. And then the smile that comes on your face is basically giving you an indication that it's okay. It's okay if you're a single parent. You have the world's most precious thing calling you mama.
Such a wonderful thing. So, what role does personal growth play in your personal and professional life? Personal development?
It's very important. If you don't know how... See, you need to understand. Morals don't come from school. Ethics don't come from school. They come from your family. What your family structure is based is what you are. It's like, for example, if there is dirt everywhere and you see a rose in the middle of the dirt, it's very beautiful. The rose is very beautiful, but where does it take its food from? From the dirt. So if you have a proper setup, a proper system, and you have been taught morals, you will exercise those morals everywhere. But if you are brought up into an environment that is fraudulent, do you know it's the parents who teach the child how to say the first lie?
Yeah.
It's like, for example, someone comes at the door, or
You're
someone calls, and then he says, "Beta, tell the person I'm not home." The child, look at the honesty of the child. The child opens the door and he says, "Daddy's saying he's not home." And then when he comes back and the father asks him, "What did you say?" "I told him you're not home." "No, what did you say exactly?" He's like, "I told him Daddy's saying I'm not home." And then he gets scolded. "Why did you have to say that? You should have said it from your side."
Yeah.
That's the first moral mistake you've made with your child. You taught him how to lie. And then you get upset. Why did you lie? That lie goes a long way and makes him anti-moral. And that's how his life keeps developing. He grows. Parents fade away. Children and wife face the same thing.
Yeah.
Immoral behavior.
It's
Parents
not
fade away.
Generations.
You are doing the same thing at work.
Yeah.
So you need to have ethical and moral background to do anything.
To achieve anything in your life,
Yes.
be it in a professional.
Probably
or
it will
personal
look like, someone who's fraudulent is making more money.
Yeah.
But is that our task? Is that our goal? Is that our goal? To be like him? That's not my goal. I have faced so much time. There was a time when I didn't have money for rent. I was looking for the least rent and I was graced by God that He did not give me additional money, but He made me find a place in that much rent. That was my first 2-bed apartment, and it was an amazing place. Because I had faith that I don't have more money and I have to live. I want to find a place, a good place in this money. We will find it. You know why? Because I'm trying to involve God in the matter, that, please help me and find a place. You see, when you believe in an unseen source, like more powerful than anyone else, you can't fail.
It's a faith that makes you go a long way.
You have to be a believer.
Yeah.
You have to be a believer. Even if you read Marcus Buckingham's book, I don't remember the name, all the people in the world have been categorized in 32 categories.
32 categories.
Yes, one is the actor, one is the believer, one is the producer, one is the doer. When I read about that, I fell into the slot of the believer. So I was very happy that kitab sahi. And Marcus Buckingham is a very good author. One should read his books.
So another question is, sir, that when it comes to your work life, how much is due to your hard work and how much to your environment?
How much is environment? What environment? House environment?
Surroundings.
Office environment?
Be it both.
Okay, when you talk about environment, is it specifically non-conducive to you? If I have a boss and the boss doesn't like me, is it that environment, or is it general environment?
It's about how much to the environment. It's about the general environment.
The general environment.
The surroundings overall here.
Well, then again, like I said, you have to understand the pace of the organization that you're working with. If you disturb the pace, you are disturbing the structure. You will become a person who pesters people then. You don't want to pester people. You want to join with them and achieve something. If you're becoming a source of pestering to people, they'll stop liking you. They won't even respond to you. So yes, your environment matters along with your hard work. If your environment, because certain companies don't have a conducive environment, no matter how hard you work.
Yeah.
And some companies, the smallest thing you do, it's got an environment that will push you up. So both go hand in hand.
So we have another question. Let me reopen the video. So sir, there's another question that we hardly have time for ourselves. So how can we maintain a healthy and fulfilling relation with our significant one? I think that's one of the best questions to ask from you.
You have hardly time for yourself.
And how can you,
If you get time for yourself, give it to your significant other. Sure. Don't give time to yourself. Give it to your significant other. Be it a husband or be it a wife. Because then that significant other will create a support function system for you where you get the time for yourself. You see, when you are married, your spouse is way more important than yourself. That's what I believe. And being a man, I think the woman's spouse is way more important than a man. Because she creates what you call a generation. In the end of the day, if you, like, I'm answering the question very clearly, in the end of the day, when you have an option of time, do you give it to yourself or do you give it to your spouse? Give it to your spouse.
Always.
Most of the times.
Most
of the times. Probably, I will say she because I'm the male here. I'm talking about my relation. Probably she'll have mercy on me one day and say, okay, why don't you go out for 10 minutes and come back?
They do it actually. I think it happens.
Yeah, but they give you only 10 minutes. They should give you a little more time.
I have no idea.
No, you will find out, inshallah, soon.
So sir, in our current COVID situation, the whole pandemic situation, learning and professional norms have been changed. Work from home has been introduced. So what is your advice to cope up with the current situation? Still, there are many organizations that are still working on the module of working from home. So
we in the pandemic were going to work. We were going to work, but we were following all the SOPs. And during this pandemic, I got this notion of learning how to detail cars. So if I can start a new topic online and start practically with it, then I think if you're already doing something, By the way, I cleared my masters from YouTube.
In the current times?
No, I'm generally telling you.
Okay.
Google has so much information that I don't want to market it, but now they don't say look for it, they say Google it.
Yeah.
They don't say search it.
Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if a person like me who had zero knowledge about something can be equipped enough to talk to a professional in that same line, I don't think it should be a problem to achieve what you want. It's all about your approach. See, excuse me, you're dying. If you're dying in a situation, what's your first thought? I'm asking you a question. If you're dying in a situation, you're in a situation and you're about to die, what's going to be your first thought? Then I'll tell you my first thought.
Unless I'm dying.
You are dying.
Okay, I'm dying.
You're in a situation where you're dying.
Okay, let's suppose it's a hard question.
I know.
Okay, it's really hard to, be in these shoes. But if I'm dying, then I think the options, I will first of all remember my mother.
Okay.
My mother.
Okay.
And maybe all I can think is about 10 seconds, a glimpse of all my life doings, that what I have done so far and what I have missed.
Okay.
And to have some mercy from Allah.
Okay.
And I think this is all I can get, right
You know what I would do? I would try to find a way to survive first. Instead of thinking about all the people and crying about it, I told you didn't listen to my question. If you're in a situation where you're dying, I would want to change the situation first. I'm sure you've traveled on a plane. Please don't mind me asking this question, sure, that you've traveled on a plane, because if someone hasn't traveled, they might find it offending here. If I haven't traveled on a plane, that's why I asked you. Listen to the announcement that's done when they're talking about the oxygen mask. They say the oxygen mask is going to fall. First, you wear it. Then make someone else wear it. Why do they say that? Isn't that selfish? No, it's not selfish. Because probably if you can breathe properly, you can help 10 people around you. But if you don't create that situation where you can breathe properly, you might not be able to help anybody around. So if you're in a situation, you need to get out of that situation first. And then you need to do anything else to think about.
Now I can get it.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
First, embrace the situation.
Survive. First survive.
Survival.
Then start living.
That's a great approach. So, I think that's, we had a lot of questions, or you want to go with more questions?
If you have questions, keep them coming.
Let me see. I think we're done. So, sir, the last question I would like to ask that what one piece of advice would you like to give to the people who are watching us? Actually, in this whole conversation, personally, I believe that I have learned a lot, that there are many keen insights that I got from you.
I'm glad I could benefit someone.
There were, many refreshing perspectives that we don't usually talk about.
Yeah.
And, I think our audience have, got some grip on the married lives and many things. So
I'd be more than happy if I have managed to give either of the spouses a perspective to have a happy married life. You see, when you are single, you sleep on your own time, you wake up on your own time. If your parents are very pestry, they'll wake you up at 9. My parents were not that way. They used to let me sleep. I remember when I used to have my exams and I didn't want to study, I used to go to sleep. My mother never woke me up. Your wife's going to wake you up. Your wife will wake you up. That's a very good thing. But you see, you want to succeed after marriage, take care of your marriage first. Then go do anything else. It's very important. You see, why is it important to take care of your spouse? Because your children are watching. When they're toddlers and they're little, they're infants, they can't do much. But you are giving them a memory. What memory do you want to give your generation? That you had parents fighting all the time? or you had parents coordinating and moving forward and achieving things slowly, and so your kids could have a different perspective. You have to move your generation at least one step ahead from where you are. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
If you have failed to move them one step ahead, you have failed completely. That means now you have to wait for your son or your daughter to grow up, to get married, to undo what you've done, and to start again. I know this is not a session on married life, but your life is based on marriage once you are married.
Yeah.
It's very simple. You can't run from it.
Right.
Relationships should not be abusive. Relationships should not be abusive. They should be conducive. They should be open with communication. And you, as a spouse, man or woman, should have that much confidence to go and talk to their spouse if they have a problem directly. Not going around directly. I tell you, it's the best thing in the world if you know how to speak to your spouse directly.
And I think by listening all these things, it's the small tips that one needs to be consistent.
True.
In their marriage life also.
With professional, with your kids, with your bosses, with your task, with any challenge at your hand, you just need to be consistent. You have to have faith, and you need to be consistent. And there's nothing stopping you. There's this saying in Urdu, "Ut band kamar kya baita hai, phir dekh khuda kya karta hai." It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's real. It's reality.
Well said, sir. Thank you so much
You're
for sharing your.
I hope I didn't bore you too much.
No, I
Chalo,
didn't.
I'm glad.
Actually,
I'm
I mean it. I really
I'm
got
glad.
a little,
I'm glad.
a fresh view of
I'm
what
glad.
things should be like.
They should.
So, sir, thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
a part
You're
of
welcome.
TBC
You're welcome.
Talks.
You're welcome.
And I hope, inshallah, we will be having more time and more sessions on other interesting topics.
Tell me that's
And
nice.
here's a small
Oh, lovely.
token of
I thought you were going to just send me away like that.
no.
Chalo, good.
It's a small token of appreciation
Thank you
from
very
our
much.
team.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
I hope everyone might have got this whole session fruitful, and I hope you all liked it. So until next time, I and Mr. Mehdi Raza would like to sign off, and
Thank you. Thank you very much.
thank you so much, sir, again, and see you again with another exciting session. Take care and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you. God bless you. Khuda.